The Cold War never ended. It just changed names, faces, and battlegrounds. And in 2025, we may be standing in the middle of a new one. A new Cold War. This time, the players aren't the United States and the Soviet Union, but the US and a rapidly rising China. Military standoffs, economic warfare, global influence, it's all here. But is this really a Cold War 2.0? Or is it something far more complex? Let's break it all down. To understand today's tensions, we have to rewind. The original Cold War, lasting from 1947 to 1991, was a geopolitical standoff between the US and the Soviet Union. It was defined by proxy wars, nuclear arms races, ideological rivalry between capitalism and communism, and competition for global influence. However, no direct war ever broke out, but from the Cuban Missile Crisis to the Vietnam War, the world often felt on the brink of disaster. The Cold War wasn't just about bombs and spies, it was about world order. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, many believed the US had achieved unipolar dominance, but in the background, China was quietly rising. Since Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms in the 1980s, China has transformed into a global superpower. It's now the world's second largest economy and the top trading partner for over 120 countries around the world, and also a military giant. Under Xi Jinping, China has become more assertive, launching initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, ramping up defense spending, and promoting a model of state-led development. On the 100th anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party, Xi Jinping delivered a speech emphasizing that the East is rising and the West is declining. This isn't just economic growth, it's a challenge to US leadership, but the most dangerous flashpoint will be Taiwan. Beijing sees the island as a breakaway province, while Washington, while recognizing the One China policy, arms Taiwan and maintains strategic ambiguity. But in 2025, the ambiguity is fading. In April 2025, China staged military drills off Taiwan's north, south, and east coast on Tuesday as a stern warning against separatism.
Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are?
That's the commitment we made. We are not, look, here's the situation. We agree with the One China policy. We signed on to it and all the attendant agreements made from there. But the idea that it can be taken by force, is just not appropriate. It will dislocate the entire region and be another action similar to what happened in Ukraine.
This isn't Cold War posturing, this is near combat brinkmanship. Also in play is the South China Sea. China has militarized artificial islands and claims nearly the entire region, violating international rulings. And the US continues freedom of navigation operations. Both sides now conduct almost monthly intercepts. One misstep and it's not just a war of words. But warfare has evolved to be more than just military might. We are moving into a world where technology is the new battleground. The US has aggressively banned advanced semiconductor exports to China, especially those made using American technology. In 2022, the CHIPS Act poured $52 billion into American chip manufacturing. China, in turn, has pushed massive subsidies into homegrown firms like SMIC and Huawei, but the gap remains. In 2025, the US Treasury officially banned investments in 8 key Chinese AI firms, citing national security risks. China retaliated by halting exports of rare earth elements critical to US EV and defense industries. Economic decoupling is no longer hypothetical, it's reality. Just like the Cold War, ideology plays a role. The US champions liberal democracy and an open global internet. China promotes a model of state-led capitalism and digital authoritarianism, facial recognition, censorship, and social credit. At the 2023 World Internet Conference in Wuhan in China, China's cybersecurity chief argued that each nation should govern the internet according to its own national conditions. This reflects a growing push for digital sovereignty, especially by countries like China. This perspective asserts that cultural values, political systems, and security needs differ across borders, and therefore a one-size-fits-all model of internet governance, often led by Western liberal norms, does not fit every society. Proponents argue that national control over digital infrastructure, content regulation, and data flow is essential to maintaining social stability and protecting sovereignty. Washington sees this as a threat to free expression and global norms, while Beijing sees it as sovereignty. More countries, especially in Africa and Southeast Asia, are now aligning with China's model: cheap infrastructure, no strings attached, influence, not just ideology, is being contested. In 2024, BRICS expanded, adding Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Argentina. It now represents over 45% of the world's population and around 30% of global GDP. More importantly, BRICS has launched discussions around a shared settlement system, potentially even a new reserve currency to rival the US dollar. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said in a conference, "The centuries-long period of Western dominance is coming to an end, and the era of multipolarity is coming." China and Brazil now settle most bilateral trade in yuan. India and Russia bypass SWIFT using local currencies. The dollar dominance is weakening slowly but surely. The IMF has warned of a fragmented global financial architecture, which could increase volatility. De-dollarization is real, but can BRICS offer a stable alternative? Let's take a step back. Is this truly a Cold War version 2? Let's look at some similarities. There's the ideological rivalry, military standoffs, Taiwan is equal to Berlin, economic blocs forming, like the BRICS against the G7, and a global proxy alignment. While there are also differences, the US and China are very economically intertwined, with over $600 billion in trade in 2024. There's no Iron Curtain, but a digital firewall, and proxy wars are fewer, but cyber warfare is consistent. The US-Soviet Cold War was binary. This world is multipolar. India, EU, Brazil, ASEAN, all playing balancing roles. We may be in a Cold War, but it's colder, smarter, and more economically entangled. So where does this all lead? The US-China rivalry in 2025 isn't just a spat between two nations. It's a contest over who shapes the 21st century, its rules, values, and technologies. And unlike the last Cold War, the battleground is everywhere: your phone, your trade policies, and your global alliances. The world isn't divided into good and evil, but it is divided, and the choice we make now could define the next generation. Thank you for watching, and if this video helped you understand the US-China rivalry better, drop a like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think we're heading into a new Cold War or something entirely different? Stay curious, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!